In this video, I'm going to be testing out the Panasonic S1 and the Sigma 28mm F1.4, and then I'll share my thoughts on the experience. Here's the story. It was a nice day to go for a walk, so I took this rig with me, the Panasonic S1, the Sigma 28mm F1.4, my Atomos Shinobi 5-inch monitor, and the Fotodiox ND Throttle Fusion. And I wanted to test this setup out, just getting some different shots, testing out the depth of field, seeing what results I could get with the variable ND and this Sigma 28mm F1.4 lens. And we start off by getting a color reference with my Xrite Color Checker video, and I use MBR Color Corrector III in Premiere Pro to get that color correction. Now we hit the streets and we get some exhilarating footage of a snail crossing a path. We're shooting with the Panasonic S1 Sigma 28mm F1.4, and we're going to be recording in various apertures and recording 4K, 25p, 10-bit vlog. ISO is set to 640 and the shutter is fixed to 50. And every shot will be using the Fotodiox ND Throttle Fusion. And you can see in this shot there's a little bit of chromatic aberration around the branch and the leaves, which is a little bit disappointing. Now I'm getting some manual focus shots of the pretty tree. And now I'm shooting into the sun to see how the lens and adapter and camera fare with shooting straight into the sun. Now I've done a quick test to see if I can throw my gimbal out using the IBIS with this camera. I think I'll keep my gimbal. We're just getting some moving car shots. Test out the rolling shutter. Now we're getting some close-up shots of wattle, just to test out the shallow depth of field, check out the colors, and also the IBIS. Here's a landscape shot. And here's a magpie having its breakfast. I tried to get as close as I could to this bird before it flew away. That's one of the downsides of this lens is it's just so wide, you can't really get those close detail shots. Now I'm shooting some black swans, and then I grow tired of them and decide that the greenery is more interesting. I was using autofocus there to try to catch on to the greenery. Now I've got a new feathered friend here, just hanging out at f1.4. Check out a little bit of the depth of field. Here's another landscape shot, f5.6. And every shot in this video is handheld. There is no tripod at all. Now getting some more flower shots at f5.6. And then I open the iris all the way to f1.4 just to obliterate that background. Still at f1.4. Trying to keep the wattle in focus, even with the wind. Now I'm just showing you going from f2.8 to f1.4 and then changing the variable ND. See what that looks like. Let me know what you think of the depth of field. And we finish off with Posty riding his motorcycle. So overall, I was pretty happy with the whole shooting experience. When you're shooting outside, there are a few things that you can't really control, mainly the sun. And today, the sun was coming in and out from behind clouds. So I can't really control that, but what I can control are my camera settings. Now, as a lot of you know, when you're exposing for a shot, you've got three main things to think about: your aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO. And on my shoot today, I locked all three of those things to whatever it was that I wanted for my stylistic choice for the shot. So for example, if I wanted to shoot at a full open aperture of f1.4 to get that really shallow depth of field, I can't really turn the sun down to reduce the light. I didn't want to change the ISO to change the dynamic range or the noise that I'd get in my image. And I didn't want to change the shutter to change the motion blur that I'd be getting. But what I could do was change the variable ND through the variable ND adapter. That made getting my shots so much easier, and I didn't need to compromise on what kind of settings I wanted the camera to have to get a specific type of shot. So overall, let me know what you think about the variable ND. Did it look good to you, or do you see some flaws in it that would stop you from using it in your projects? And that will do it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel for more videos on video creation in the future.